Alright, so. Alright, guys. Forget about. Okay, let's focus. Concentrate. It's all about God, alright? We're gonna talk about Jesus and more. So before we had our Good Friday and before we had the resurrection stuff, and remember Ezekiel, he was here, he was our guest. We had an awesome night with him. Before that, we were talking about forgiveness. Do you guys remember that?
Yes.
We are in a series called Second Chances, alright? First week, we were talking about identity. Like, don't believe the labels the world has put on you. That was our first week. Second week, we were talking about forgiveness. You guys remember that? Yeah. Like, people offend you, people hurt you. We were talking about we have to be graceful and forgive people, right? Tonight, we're going to hit our third subject in the Second Chances part. And now, it's going to be the other side of the coin. Now, again, who has been hurt? Like, someone offended you, someone did something really bad, nasty. All right, now, the question is today, how many times or how, sometime you have been the one offending someone else. You are the one to blame. You offended. You hurt someone, right? Have you been there?
Yes.
Of course. So what about that? That's what we're going to talk about. Today's title, if you want to give it a title, it's kind of funny, but I like it. It's Own It, Baby. It's yours. Alright? So that's kind of a title that you can give it. Own it, baby. It's yours. And we're going to see, and we're going to talk about that. Like, sometimes we are the ones who mess up. And, own it. Like, you did it. So, we're going to talk, what does the Bible say about this? Now, all of you, go to Matthew 5. We're going to read 23 and 24. Alright? So, pull it up. Once again, that's Matthew 5, 23 and 24. Whenever you have it, make some noise, let me know.
Got you.
Matthew 5, 23 and 24. Now, this is what the Word of God says about us. Listen, guys. Therefore, if you are bringing an offering to God and you remember that your brother is angry at you or holds a grudge against you, then leave your gift before the altar. Go to your brother, repent, and forgive one another, be reconciled, and then return to the altar to offer your gift to God. Now, if that was not clear enough, basically, it's talking about sometimes we are just too good in faking it. Like, we just get in a church mode. We can be coming to church, either you're driving or you're walking, and on the car, you can have the nastiest of discussions. You can be killing each other. You can be hitting each other. You can be just calling names. And you're like, you do that. And then you just get here and you walk into, hey, hallelujah, brother. God bless you. Yes.
Amen.
May the blessing of God shine upon you. And we just get into this churchy mode. And we just know. We learn the motions. We know how to fake it. But God is clearly saying here, like, if you're coming to church and you're ready to, worship and have this time with God, but then like, it clicks and like, dawns on you. Like, man, I know Jennifer is still mad at me. Man, Ricky, man, I know what I did to Ricky and he's still upset. I know. Then what the Bible says is just like, then don't even bother. And this is one of the very few, if not the only place where God says, before you worship me, like, forget, don't worship me. Don't even come. Go fix that relationship. Now, I don't know if you remember, in one part of the Bible, they asked Jesus, all right, so what are the commandments? How can you summarize the commandments? And Jesus is very clear, and he says, okay, love God above everything. And then he gives a second commandment. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. So we can see here that is very important. We have a relationship with God, what people call a vertical relationship, but as well is very important your horizontal relationships, like your relationship with your friends, your family, your peers. So it's not just about, oh yeah, me and God, and it's all about God. Like, yes, it's all about God, but it's also about people. And sometimes we miss that part. So God is saying, like, don't even bother. Before you come to me and you want to pretend everything is fine, go and apologize. Go and fix that broken relationship. So we ought to keep that in mind. That is important to God. Like, take the mask off. You don't have to pretend you're perfect. It's not about that. It's about get things right when they're not right. And we're gonna see a different passage. It's right there still in Matthew 5, but we're gonna go to verse 9. Okay? And Matthew 5 verse 9 says this: blessed are the peacemakers. They will be called children of God. Now, the key word here is blessed are the peacemakers. It is not blessed are the peacekeepers. Would you want to say, like, oh, what is the difference? Well, there's a lot of difference. There's nothing wrong in being a peacekeeper, like you keep the peace. But God is saying, like, blessed are the peacemakers. All right? Now, what is the difference, you might ask? A peacekeeper is the one who maintains peace. Would you say, like, well, what's wrong with that? Well, problem is that sometimes we maintain peace because we pretend or we ignore our problems. Have you ever been in that situation? Like, if you talk to your friend about a specific issue, hell's gonna break loose. Yeah. Like, you just know. So what you do? To maintain peace, you just don't talk about it, right? Just don't mention it. Just pretend it never happened, and we'll keep going. That's a peacekeeper. But it's not effective because there is a problem. You're just trying to ignore it, and sooner or later it's gonna pop out. Yes.
So a peacekeeper, is it a person or something you do?
No. It is a person. Like a peacekeeper is an action. It's like you can be either a peacekeeper or a peacemaker. Right? It's something that you do. Yes. Once again, I'm talking about what the difference is. So far, I explained what a peacekeeper is. A peacekeeper is the one who will ignore a circumstance. It will ignore something that happened just to avoid a fight. But a peacemaker
makes the peace.
That's what we're talking about. It's you have the same situation. You know that if you bring something up, it's gonna get nasty. But you are not afraid to bring it up. Because sometimes the best thing you can do is to start a fight. Or, in other words, to start an argument. For example, in the marriage life, it happens a lot. I mean, you're just, not with listening, of course, with other people. But you're just two different persons. You come from a different background. And sometimes you have different opinions about things. How to do things, or why to do things, or why not to do things. So, eventually, if you are together long enough, arguments will come up. And it's so easy to say that, you know, honey, alright, just let's do it your way. I'm tired. I want to go to sleep. And you can fall into that. Same thing with your friends, or with your mom, or with your dad, your brothers. Like, you don't want to fight. So you're like, you know what? Just do whatever you want to do, right? It happens a lot. Just do whatever you want to do. But nothing is going to get solved. But when you really love someone, you are willing to fight. And I'm not talking about a fist fight, you know. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, okay, let's get serious. Let's sit down. Let's talk about it. And I'm willing to be heard just to get things the way they're supposed to. So once again, it's not the same to be a peacekeeper than a peacemaker. Again, of course, it's better to be a peacekeeper than a troublemaker, but that's not the point. The point is that we are meant to be peacemakers. And I'm not talking, okay, oh, all right, so I'm going to start some trouble and then I'm going to make peace. Like, no. Just whenever problems come, be brave enough to deal with it.
But then you get in trouble for involving yourself in it.
No. I'm talking about, you're not going to be involved in someone else's stuff. Yeah.
Oh, some of ours?
Exactly. We're talking about your own stuff, your relationships, your issues with your friends, with your family, with, you know, whoever. This applies in every aspect of life. All right? So we're called to be peacemakers. And there is peace. Now, there is the biggest enemy of a peacemaker. And I'm going to talk about the biggest enemy of a peacemaker and the biggest friend. Now, the biggest enemy of a peacemaker is pride. That's, you know, that's the worst thing. When you are prideful, you get into an argument, or you get into a situation, and it's like, I'm not gonna say I'm sorry. She better come to me and say I'm sorry. I'm not gonna do that. Pride. Or you know.
It's good to have pride in yourself.
You hurt someone. You hurt your friend, and you're like, she better get over it. She's a little baby. Come on. Like, all right. I mean, I did it. So what? Grow up. So it's pride. Pride does not let us resolve things. So the worst thing you can be is a pride person, a proud person. It's the worst thing you can be. Now, the best friend of a peacemaker, on the opposite, is humility. If you're humble, makes the whole lot of difference. Like, for example, I remember one time, a couple of years, 2-3 years ago, I was still living in Monterrey, and I came to Houston with the band. We were invited to a Methodist church over there by Gessner, and it was during the Easter. So we were having a weekend experience, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And it was meant to be this 3 worship and revival, and it was gonna be awesome. So we came, and before I got here, as you know, I have family here, right? At that time, my mom and my brother were living here. So I was like, awesome, that's a great opportunity. That was the year I was gonna get married. So me and Liz had a lot of things to do in regards to wedding.
She was in the band too?
She was part of our ministry. She didn't play or sing, but she was involved in other stuff. So we came, and I called my family. Hey, you know, guys, I'm gonna be in town. I would love to see you all. My grandpa, who passed away, was very ill. So to me, it was a great opportunity to spend some time with the family, because at the end, the band was invited, and we had an activity as a band during the nights only. the rest of the day it was just, nothing. So I talked to a couple of my friends from the band, and I told them, you know what, I'm going to spend some time with the family, their days, blah, blah, blah. So, all right, good, no problem. So we got here, and as soon as I got here, my family was waiting for me. So they picked me up, I went to them, my friends stayed in a place here, and then when time came to get ready for the whole service, we got together, and I sensed right away something different in the atmosphere. Something was not right. You could just feel it. There were some looks, some comments here and there, and I was like, what's going on? So it was weird. And I'm telling you, that night was awful. It was not what it was supposed to be. Nothing went right. Musically speaking, spiritually speaking, it was bad. It was bad. Then, at the end of the day, I found out what was going on. Some of the band members were upset with me. Like, why did I left? They were asking me, why he's not here? Where is he? This and that. And so the guys I spoke to, they're like, he's with his family, and they got like, this is not a vacation. We came as a band, blah, blah, blah. So it got all, out of proportion. And of course, when they told me that they got mad, I got mad. So like, who they are, why they, So it was really, really messy. So right away, like, that's why everything sucked that Friday. And then I was hurt. Like, how they have no right to be mad. Like, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm with my family. Why they are so selfish? Like, can they see that I haven't seen them? So a whole thing went out. So Saturday, no surprise, as well. Awful night. Awful night. And basically, we were living what we just read on Matthew. Where it says, like, don't even come. If there's something wrong with you and your brother, leave the offering there, go fix your relationship, and then come back. But we were not doing that. We were not leaving that. And I tell you, two of the worst night of us as a band. And once again, I'm not just talking about the music. More important than that, spiritually. It was just not happening. And by God's grace, during that night, God worked in our hearts. And when we met on Sunday morning before the service, we basically started this process of peacemakers. Like, all right, let's sit down. What's going on? And we talked for like an hour. And it was tough. It was not like, sweet talking. No. We were like really face to face, saying everything we had in our hearts. Yeah, exactly. Like if you didn't know it, you thought like, ooh, these are enemies, like opposite bands, whatever. But it was not the case. But at the end, again, because we were doing it with a different heart. We were doing it not with pride in our hearts, but with humility, and say like, okay, what's going on? And then we heard each side of the story and everything, and like, oh, I get it. And me like, oh, I'm sorry, yeah, I get it. So we had this opportunity to apologize to each other, and like the Bible says, to reconcile. And I'm telling you, that Sunday, it was awesome. It was like just God was saying like, all right, whatever you guys want. If you want me to show up, you know what you have to do. Unless you do that, I'm not showing up. And thank God, I mean, just by His grace, He taught us that lesson. And I'm telling you, I know for the church, that Sunday was a huge impact for them. And for us as a band, it was life-changing. Because our whole dynamics as a band changed from that moment on. Because we learned, what I'm trying to teach you today, is that it's no good to go through life pretending that things are okay. Sometimes you need to get your hands dirty in order to get things done. It's necessary. So, talking about that, let's go to the next step. So, okay, we learned so far that we must reconcile. We must be able to forgive and to ask forgiveness. We know that if we don't do that, God will not bless us, and that we need to be proactive and be peacemakers. So the question now is, how do I apologize? Because there is, of course, a wrong way of doing it and a good way. Like, for example, if you try to apologize and you just go to whoever, it's like, sorry, bro. You know, whatever. Sorry.
You're not meaning it.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like, that's not a good apology, right? Or if you just go like, hey, you know what? Come on, dude. Don't be a big fat baby. Sorry. It's like,
So you just insulted
exactly. I don't think you're gonna get too far, right? Like, that's not really an apology. So, how do we apologize in a godly way, like the way God wants us to apologize? All right, we're gonna hit 5 points. Either write them or just keep them in your heart, because these are gonna make a difference in your life. First of all, whenever you have to apologize, it's very important that you admit to specific actions or situations. Don't just go and say like, hey, you know what? I'm sorry. Like, I am sorry. Like, okay, you're sorry for what? And be specific. Hey, you know what? The other day, I yelled at you. I raised my voice. I got upset. I'm really sorry. I shouldn't have done that. Like, that's a good apology. Or you know what? I know you heard about it the other day. I was talking about you behind you. And I call you certain things and it was wrong. I'm sorry. Like, you have to say specifically what you did, because when you get to the specifics, it dawns on you. Like, if you say I'm sorry, it's like you're fooling yourself. You're like, whatever, I'm sorry. But when you go to specific, it's like it hurts you. Like, oh man, I call you that name the other day. I'm really sorry. And it dawns you like, I actually did this. So you have to be specific. It's not easy, guys. I know it's not easy, but once again, you must be humble enough to say, I am sorry. I hurt you. I didn't mean it. Please forgive me. Now, sometimes we get to the point where we say, but I didn't do anything. And yes, sometimes that's exactly the problem. You didn't do anything. I don't know if you remember during our doctrine sessions we've been having, we were talking about sin, and there are 2 kinds of sin. We got the sins of commission, when you know what you did, like you did it and you wanted to do it. You were aware of it and you still did it. But then we have what's called the sins of omission. Like you had no clue you did something, or you knew you should have done something and you didn't do it. So it's equally wrong. You know, if you did something, it will help, but you prefer not to get involved, not to do anything, and that's wrong. The Bible says that if you know to do what's right and you don't do it, it's a sin. So sometimes that's exactly what happens. We don't do anything when we should have done something. Point number 2, when you are apologizing, don't make excuses. Just own it. You know what? The other day, I call you names. But it was because you did this and that. No, but you know, it's just not gonna work. Alright, that's just not gonna work. Or, I don't know, whatever it is. you got really, really upset and you actually punch your friend in the face. Like, you were just so upset about it.
Yeah, my face, bro.
And you're like, hey, you know what? The other day, you know, it got rough. I know I punched you, but bro, you were so annoying. Right? like then that is not really an apology, right?
Yeah.
You have to own it. Like, this is the true talking. Sometimes it's both your faults. Like, yeah, maybe that person is a 90% fault and you're 10% fault, but it's both of you, okay? And first of all, whenever you're in a discussion, don't bring out percentage. That's not gonna work, right? Like, all right, percentage. Like, oh, okay, yeah, no, percentage is like, okay, yeah, I know I did this.
My fault.
Yeah, like, I know I did this little bit of wrong, but you did a lot. Like, it's not gonna work, all right? So just simply acknowledge your part of the blame. Whatever it was that you did, like, hey, you know what? I'm sorry, the other day I did this and I shouldn't have. Like, I'm really sorry. And if you are humble enough, most likely you will produce a reaction of the other person towards the same spirit. The other person, I mean, yeah, they can get cocky and prideful and, you know, whatever. But most likely, if you are humble enough, they will turn humble themselves. Like, hey, no, don't worry about it, bro. I know what I did too. And then you get to reconcile. So don't make excuses. Because if you make excuses, the other person is just going to get defensive. And it's going to be, oh yeah, but I did it because you. So you're bringing all this into the mix. And it's not helpful. So simply apologize and don't make excuses. Now, it's also very easy to blame shift. Like, you start with an apology, but then, oh, but you, and then you make all this argument on why you did what you did. So,
Like turning the table.
Exactly, like turning tables. So instead of apologizing, now you're demanding an apology. Like, yeah, I start with an apology, but I'm really asking for yours. Are you willing to do it? So, you know, no, stop, don't do it. Just apologize. That's it. And let the other person do whatever they need to do. Point number 3, guys, accept the consequences of your actions. Let's say your mom and dad, they borrow you the car, they let you drive, and you crash. Because you drink when you were not supposed to drink. Or because you were texting when you were not supposed to be texting, or whatever. So, yeah, you might come to mom and dad and say, you know, sorry mom, sorry dad, I didn't mean it, it was an accident, and, you know, I crashed. And they will forgive you. Let's say they're godly people and they will just understand, like, all right, son, no problem. We understand. You had a rough night, but you're not driving for the next 6 months. And don't be like, oh, but just accept the consequences. Or you cheat on a test at school and you get caught. Yes, it's good to apologize, but you might get expelled, or you might get suspended, or you might just fail the test. And don't be like, but I apologize.
You gotta take
Yes, but
the blame.
you still cheated. So accept the consequences of your actions. Are we tracking? Are we
Yes.
agreeing?
Number 4.
Number 4, change your behavior. This is another key element. Like, it will be no good at all if you say, I'm sorry, and you keep doing the same thing. It will be just stupid. And how many of us are in that position that you know what you did, and you are sorry. Like, it feels wrong inside of you, and you try to change, but you just can't. And you're struggling with that. Like, like you're trying to break this circle of gossip, and you don't want to gossip anymore, but you find yourself again and again gossiping, and you say you're sorry, but you keep gossiping, then, I mean, it's no good. You have to make changes. All right? Whatever it is, your situation. Let's say you have a big mouth, and you just love to fight with mom and dad. You just love it. Whenever your mom and dad say like, hey, I need to talk to you. Oh, I need to talk to you too. What's up? You're going to do this or not? Like,
I do that.
you have a big mouth.
What's up, man? I do.
Like,
I really do.
you have to change. You have to change. If you don't make changes, guys, then you're just foolishing yourself. You have to understand, okay, I am doing something wrong. I need to change it. Now, I know sometimes it's not easy to change, right? You try. So, what do you need to do?
Try again.
You need to pray, and you need to do different things. Like Einstein said it. If you keep doing the same thing, you're gonna get the same results. You just won't get the same. I know it's a little bit different, but you know,
That's what it means.
exactly. That's what it means. What is it exactly like? Don't expect different results if you're doing the same something.
Yeah, something like that.
Give or take. But essentially, is that if you keep doing the same thing, you will get the same result. You want a different result? Well, change something in the equation. So same thing in our lives. Let's say you have a porn addiction. Porn addiction. It's very common. Don't pretend it's not. And you try to quit. Like you do feel guilty. But hey, every certain nights you get into it again. And so what do you need to do? Yes, you need to pray. Definitely. But what else? Yeah, stop looking at it. But how am I gonna stop? How am I gonna stop?
Get a girlfriend. Ask girlfriend.
No, believe me, get a girlfriend won't help. Might make it worse. That's not the point. The point is, guys, you need to confess things. Because if no one knows about your addictions, whatever they are, how they're going to help you, and you won't feel the need to change because no one knows. But when you actually get someone else involved, like, hey, you know, bro, I need to tell you something. There is this side of me that I don't like. And I've been trying to change, but I just cannot, and I'm addicted to this. Call it porn, call it alcohol, call it sex,
I'm addicted to food.
call it food, call it whatever it is, you name it. Sexting. You just got it into you, like, and you have no idea how common it is nowadays.
Yeah, that's nice.
Now, I'm addicted to,
Boybands.
I don't know, buying stuff. I'm addicted to shoes. I'm just addicted to the mall.
Addicted to going to the pulga.
Even. Yeah, shopping. Hey, I'm addicted to the gym.
That's why God.
I wish I was the guy to that.
Some of us can use some of that, right? But no, you know, I'm addicted to lying. I'm addicted to trouble. Oh boy, there's a lot of that.
You're addicted to procrastination.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yes.
god, in psychology, this guy was like addicted to like killing people. He felt like a rush, like if he was doing
Guys,
drugs. That's crazy.
like you have no idea.
Like every time
Everything is out there. All right. For example, I think myself, I'm kind of addicted to my phone or technology.
Really?
I think so.
We've noticed.
I'm not sure though, but I think I might. So
I can officially diagnose that.
Some people are.
you see, you need to help me, guys. I'm addicted to technology and gadgets, but not to my iPad. Don't take it away from me.
I would rather just live out in the country,
So
somewhere in Alaska.
you need to make changes, and one way to make changes is yes, pray, two, confess.
Okay.
Come out. We haven't get to 5. We're on 4. Guys, for everyone here, everyone, you need to confess. All right. You need to get a friend involved. You need to, I don't know, for example, if you know you are addicted to shopping, then commit yourself to not even going. Don't go to a mall. Do not go to a shopping center.
But then if you have internet,
If you are addicted, again, if you're addicted to,
Don't get a credit card.
I don't know, whatever it is, if you're addicted to alcohol, don't go to parties where you know there is alcohol involved. If you are addicted to fights, avoid crowds, I don't know, whatever you need to do. Deal with it. But you have to make changes. And lastly, guys,
Number 5.
this is number 5, alright?
ask for forgiveness.
Cheater.
What about you're addicted to cheating?
I forgive you, alright? Ask forgiveness. That's our final step. And I know it might sound redundant because haven't we been talking about that? Yes, precisely. Point number 5, the most important one. Ask for forgiveness. You might have the theory. You might like, I nail it. I know what I need to do. But if you don't do it, then it's pointless.
Procrastination.
That's what I said.
Addicted to that.
You forgot addicted to sex.
No, I did say it. I did say it. Now, what did I say, bro?
Get it out, bro.
Come clean,
Get it
come
out,
clean.
confess,
Get out of the
bro.
closet.
Confess.
I don't think you want him.
No.
Okay. It's not wise.
No, now I do
All
want to
right.
hear it.
Now, hold on. So, guys, apologize. All right.
He gets monkey.
Now, I know today, I'm sure there's someone you need to apologize to. I'm sure.
Not really.
You need to apologize to me, bro. You need to know that. But we'll talk about it. Oh my god, No, but really, if you know, like, if this whole conversation is actually speaking to you, and you know that you must apologize, please, I urge you, do it. If this specific person isn't here, this will be an awesome time. But you know what? Sometimes it goes beyond that. Like, yes, once again, I invite you, I urge you. If there's someone you need to apologize, please do it. Yes?
Wait. I'll wait till you're done.
Okay. If you need to call them today, if you need to visit them today, please do so. If it's at home, like a lot of time is the case, whenever you get home, just, get beyond pride and just knock on the door and say, hey mom, I need to talk. Can we have 5 minutes? Or can we have 5 hours? No, whatever the case might be. But you know what?
What if they make fun of, like, how you
What if they
apologize?
don't
What if you
want
think
your
they're
So what?
serious?
So what? Okay.
At least you did.
This is what I've been talking all night long. You have to do
Your part.
your part.
Okay, if they don't do their part, that's them.
It's not up to you. You did what God asked you to do, which was ask for forgiveness.
Make the peace.
Exactly. Now, yes, there is a risk that they will make fun of you, that they will not accept your apology, but at least you did what you needed to do. So, apologize. And then, I want to close with this, guys. A lot of us, well, let me rephrase that. All of us, I'm definitely sure, we need to apologize to God. Like, I don't care how perfect you think you are. You're not perfect. You're just not.
Sorry to break.
You're not perfect. Now, for those of you that are struggling, that I know, but I am perfect. Let me quote you a passage of the scriptures. It's on Isaiah. And it says that your good deeds are filthy rags. Anyone knows what a filthy rag is?
Yeah, it's a rag.
Oh my
That's
god,
filthy.
yes. There's
Alright, let me break it down to you, okay? It's gonna get nasty, but I need you to listen, alright? Filthy rag is a very, very mild translation. It's a very weak translation. Literally, what it means, filthy rags. Let me put it in something that you can, an image. Let me give you an image that you can actually understand. Bloody tampons. Yes, exactly.
I was talking about this.
Who agree with me? Who can say it is nasty?
That is not nasty. That's disgusting.
That's
All right, great.
Where do you have to be pads? I mean, tampons.
Because it is. No, because that's what it is.
Dirty dishes, and then
No, because that's exactly what the original means. Yes, menstrual rags. That's what it means. Literally. What?
Why did you say tampons? Why didn't you say pads?
Oh my
Because
it was like bloody.
it's something that it's easy to Now, now, how many of you were grossed by that image?
Me. And I've never seen.
Okay, good. Because that's how, guys, that is how God viewed your good deeds. When you come prideful, when you come full of pride with God, like, look at me, look everything I have done. That's God's reaction. Like you guys, like, oh, that's God's reaction to your good works. They're not good enough.
If you're perfect, if you think you're perfect.
Exactly, like if you brag about, oh, you know what, the other day, I just have to say it, I did this. I helped whoever.
Like you bragging about your sandwich.
Exactly. No, dude, that's holy. That's holy. It was a nice sandwich.
I've tasted better sandwiches at some.
No, honestly, like, if you really think that you are so awesome, and and you're going through like bragging about it, or you're pointing fingers, like, dude, you're so unholy. You should be a little bit more like me. Like, dude, God sees your good things as bloody tampons.
But if you do good things and you're not like bragging about
Like,
it,
this is the thing. The point is that you're supposed to do good things. But you're not. Why would you brag about it?
Don't brag about it.
Exactly. Why would you brag about it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just do it.
Exactly.
Proud of yourself.
Right. Once again, it's not bad to do good things. That's not the point. The wrong in it is that you brag about. Like, I mean, you don't even have to say it. Just the way you act, the way you present yourself, the way you look down at people because you think they're not as good as you. And we do have a lot of that, especially in church. Especially in church, we see other people as lower class citizens. Like, oh, you're this? Oh, sorry.
I know.
You're not in my church? Oh, sorry. We actually act like that. Guys, I have seen it here. Sometimes we're having this discussion and someone says something that you think is not cool, and you just jump right to them, like, oh!
Yeah.
And like, whoa, like, why would you react like that?
No names.
It's not like, it's not
Give an
like,
example.
it's not like you're better than
I'm
them.
taking notes.
So am I. Can you tell the difference?
It really, guys,
Like,
it's
come on.
not.
Put them on blast.
Yeah.
Right now.
People on blast. Just put different names. Yeah, just
Just
put
change the
different
name.
No, it's just,
Guys, I know.
just like that. that, guys. Like, it happens
Like
a lot. Like, or you know about a person that's Catholic, for example. Because I get a lot of questions like that. Oh, so the Catholics, like, it's not like we're better than Catholics. It's not about religion.
One guy wants to marry me and he's Catholic, and I said no.
Yes, you can say. Yes, you should say that. The point is, all right, I don't want to lose you guys. Guys, don't miss the point. The point is, yes, you should do good things because your new nature. All right, being Christian, and I hope we can all get this. Being Christian doesn't mean that you are perfect. Okay, you get that? What it means is that you are forgiven. That's what a Christian is. It's not a perfect person. It's a forgiven person. Do you get that?
Yeah.
Can you say that with me? Being Christian?
Being Christian.
It's about being forgiven.
It's about being forgiven.
Turn to the one next to you. Tell him, I'm forgiven.
I'm forgiven. I'm forgiven. No.
Now, turn to the other one, your second choice, and tell him, I'm not perfect.
I'm not perfect.
So, again, and I want to close with this. Tonight,
You ain't.
All late.
guys,
Cállense, por favor.
I really, really want you
I'm not
to start this night to make a difference in your life. To actually stop pretending and start asking for forgiveness. Once again, if someone if someone hurt you and they ask for forgiveness, the only good thing to do is to forgive. Exactly. And second, if you are the one and you know you have wronged someone, release the pride. Like, let it go. And just say, I'm sorry. Just own it. Own it. And second, and most important of all, if you know that tonight, you just know you're not right with God. Whatever your situation might be. But you just know it. Like, I'm not right with God. Please, what is stopping you from saying, God, I'm sorry? And not only, I'm sorry, but like we just talked tonight, change. Like, just stop. Like, don't try to argue with God. Don't tell him, yes, God, but my life is being so hard. You should know. Like, don't argue. Don't excuse yourself. Just own it. If you know, like, I know this is wrong. And I know this is not, it's not only about breaking rules or breaking laws. It's about breaking God's heart. And we should say simply, I'm sorry. I am. And I want all of you to close your eyes this moment. And just spend the next minute and meditate. Who have I hurt lately, last week, the last day, the last hour? Who have I hurt? Who do I need to apologize? Meditate for a minute. And be honest with yourself. And in a minute, we're going to start praying. And I want you to make a commitment to yourself to say, like, I am going to apologize. So I'm going to go and start praying right now. And please, if you know that you have hurt someone, please start praying with me. And ask God to give you the strength and the humility to ask forgiveness and make things right.